Okay, good morning, everyone. We are now streaming live on YouTube, so that way the public has access to the court system. My name is Judge Farrey. I will be presiding over your first appearance hearing this morning, and I'm going to make some general announcements that will apply to everyone, so please listen carefully. As I mentioned, this is your first appearance. This is not your trial, so we are not here to try your case, nor are we here to take a plea. You are here because I am going to inform you of the charges that have been brought against you. I'm going to advise you of certain rights that you have. I'm going to tell you about your bond, and I will set bond on those offenses for which I am authorized to set bond on. I will also schedule your preliminary hearing date if necessary, and to determine whether you require the assistance of an attorney to represent you here today. You do have the right to remain silent and say nothing. But should you give up this right, anything you say during this proceeding may be used against you if this case goes to trial. Keep in mind, we are streaming live on YouTube and these proceedings are recorded. So be careful about the statements that you make to me. During this proceeding and all other proceedings throughout your case, you do have the following rights. You have the right to the presumption of innocence until the state proves your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to indictment by the grand jury for most felonies or by accusation for misdemeanors. You do have the right to a speedy and public trial by jury. You have the right to see, hear, and cross-examine any witnesses who are called to testify against you. You have the right to compel the attendance of witnesses on your own behalf by subpoena. You have the right to testify and offer evidence in your own defense, should you choose to do so. However, if you choose not to do so, there will be no presumption of guilt that may be raised against you. You have the right to have an attorney represent you as well. And when each of you come before me, I will determine whether or not you qualify to have a court-appointed attorney. Now, I want to talk to you about bond. Some of you will be allowed to post unrestricted bonds in order to be released from jail pending the prosecution of your case. Now, this bond may come in 3 different ways, so listen up. The first option is a cash bond. If you decide to post a cash bond, you'll pay the full amount of your bond in cash to the sheriff's department, plus any mandated fees. The sheriff will hold that bond, and after the final disposition of your case, the cash bond will be returned to the person who posted it. Your second option is called a commercial bond. If you decide to utilize a commercial bond, you will post the bond by going through a commercial bonding company that has been approved by the Clayton County Sheriff's Office. Now, these bonding companies are private companies, and they charge different fees in order to post the bond for you. I don't have the information about how much their fees are. However, generally, a bonding company will charge you up to 15% of whatever your total bond amount is. The fee that they charge you is a fee for their services. So once you pay this fee to the commercial bonding company, you do not get this money back. Your third option is considered a property bond. If you decide to use property to post your bond, then someone who has property will need to have net equity in their property that is at least 3 times the total bond amount. So if I tell you that your bond is $2,000, for example, the equity in that property needs to be at least $6,000 of equity. Now, some of you are going to have what is called special conditions that are on your bond that will prohibit you from contacting certain people. Now, if I tell you you have a special condition where you are not to have contact and you are to stay away from a certain individual, that means no contact, no direct contact by phone, email, text, even social media. And you are to stay away from their place of employment, where they live as well. If I say no indirect contact, or excuse me, the no contact also includes no indirect contact, meaning you cannot contact this person through a third party individual. So no contact means no contact. Some of you will have restrictions on your bond where I mentioned that you cannot go to a certain location or place. And when I say do not go there, that means do not go to that location. If you violate any of these special conditions of your bond will be revoked and you will not be entitled to another bond while you wait for your trial. Also, you may have an additional charge of aggravated stalking, influencing witness, or any other charge as the law may provide. You could also have an additional charge brought against you. You could be sentenced up to 10 years in prison, and you can also be fined up to $20,000. Now, for family members who will be assisting you in posting your bond here today, they will be provided the information and details about your bond amount once we have concluded our calendar here today. If you have a family member who is the alleged victim in your case, and there is a special condition that you are not to have any contact with that family member, he or she will not be allowed to post that bond for you. Now, some of you are charged with offenses for which this court is not authorized by law to set a bond for you. If this is the case, I will let you know that I'm not authorized to set a bond for you, and a bond hearing will be scheduled before a superior court judge, and you will be informed of that court date. If you are currently on active probation, this court is not authorized to set a bond for you as well. We will give your probation officer an opportunity to determine if he or she will file a warrant to revoke your probation. And this is typically done during your preliminary hearing. So each of you will be assigned a preliminary hearing date. The preliminary hearing is a probable cause hearing. The purpose of the preliminary hearing is to determine whether there is enough evidence or probable cause to justify keeping you detained on the charges until your case goes to trial. For those of you who are charged with only misdemeanors, your preliminary hearing date will be May 4th at 8:30. If you are charged with only felonies, or if you're charged with felonies and misdemeanors, your preliminary hearing date will be scheduled for May 5th. And if you are not authorized, or excuse me, if you are not given a bond here today, your bond hearing date is going to be scheduled for May 7th. If I can have each and every one of you go ahead and raise your right hand so I can swear you in. Do you swear and affirm that the statement you give before this court and the statements contained within your application for a court-appointed attorney is true and correct? If so, say I do and lower your hands.
I do.
Okay. So I am going to have each and every one of you come up so I can keep in mind that although this is a video conference, that this is still court. So I would advise that each and every one of you govern yourself accordingly, okay? All right, so I'm ready for Ms. Montgomery.
Montgomery? Go ahead, please.
Good morning, Ms. Montgomery. You have been charged with 1 count of criminal damage in the 2nd degree, as well as battery. Your total bond amount is $7,000. Do you understand the charge and the bond amount?
Yes, you can speak my story too.
Okay. So is that a yes?
Yeah, I understand it. Can I let you know what happened? The whole story?
Hang on, Ms. Montgomery. Let me explain to you some other conditions for your bond, okay? So as a condition, you're gonna have to stay away from Stacy Ann Barnes. You cannot have any contact with Stacy Ann Barnes. Do you understand
Okay.
that condition?
She stole $5,000 from me. I was living there, and she kicked me out.
I just listen to the judge.
Okay.
And I just wanted my money. I got in her face, and she hit me, and I broke her glasses.
Okay, so Ms. Montgomery, I am going to appoint an attorney to represent you. And so you need to talk to your court-appointed attorney and share that information with him or her. I am also,
She owed me
uh,
$5,000. She
judge-
called and got the credit card set up in my name.
Let the judge talk
And
to
I
you.
thought I was
Ms. Montgomery.
illiterate, in which I'm not illiterate. I didn't need to pay.
Ms. Montgomery.
I
Ms.
had
Montgomery.
Let her talk. Let her talk so she can help
$6,000.
you. Let her talk so she can help you.
Okay, Ms. Montgomery, hang on, hold on. I just want to let you know that your court date is going to be scheduled for May 5th, 2021 at 8:30 a.m. And I'm assigning you a court-appointed attorney, so you need to talk to your attorney, okay?
Okay.
All right, have a good day, ma'am. You're excused.
Thank you.
I just have to see over Ms. Montgomery. You need the next one, Ms. Bennett.
Okay, I'll have Ms. Bennett. Are you Ms. Bennett?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good morning, ma'am. You have been charged with disorderly conduct as well as obstructing an officer. Your total bond for those charges is $2,500. Do you understand the charges and your bond amount?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I have reviewed your application for a court-appointed counsel, and I am granting your request. Your preliminary hearing date is being scheduled for May 4th at 8:30 a.m. Do you believe you can make bond?
Yes.
Okay, so in the event you make bond, your court date will be waived and you'll receive a new court notice in the mail. Do you have any questions for me, ma'am?
No, ma'am.
Okay, you can be excused. Have a good day.
You too.
Tell me. Go ahead, tell me. Yeah.
Good morning, Ms. Dubélé. Now, you have been charged with two offenses. The first offense is the possession of marijuana less than an ounce. That bond is preset at $1,500. You also had a second charge, which was license not on person. I am denying that charge as I do not find that there is sufficient probable cause for that charge. So I'm going to write an order dismissing that particular charge. So your bond amount for the one offense that's remaining is $1,500. Do you believe you can make bond?
Yes.
All right, are you requesting a court-appointed attorney?
Yes.
All right, I have reviewed your application and you do qualify for a court-appointed attorney. So I am appointing one to represent you. Your preliminary hearing date is scheduled for May 4th. But if you do bond out like you believe you'll be able to, that court date will be waived and you'll receive a new court notice in the mail. Do you have any questions for me?
No.
Okay, you may be excused. Have a good day.
Come this way. Don't let the door close.
Good morning, Aaron Patton.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so ma'am, you have been charged with one count of tampering with evidence. Your bond is $2,500. Do you understand the charge and your bond amount?
Yes, ma'am. I do.
Do you believe you'll be able to make bond?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Are you requesting a court-appointed attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so your application says that you're unemployed and you don't have any source of income. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I am appointing an attorney to represent you. So I have approved your request. Your preliminary hearing date is being scheduled for May 4th, 2021 at 8:30 a.m. If you do bond out, that court date will be waived and you'll receive a new notice in the mail. Do you have any questions for me, Ms. Patton?
No.
Okay, thank you. You may be excused.
Close that. Close that.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Close that.
My name is Jamaica Valencia.
Okay, ma'am, you have been charged with 3 driving offenses. Driving while license suspended, no insurance, and expired tag. Your total bond amount is $3,000. Do you understand the charges and your bond amount?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you believe you can make bond?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, are you requesting a court-appointed attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I've reviewed your application and I am granting your request to have a court-appointed attorney represent you. Your preliminary hearing date is scheduled for May 4th at 8:30 a.m. Once you bond out, that court date will be waived and you'll receive a new notice in the mail. Do you have any questions for me, ma'am?
No, ma'am.
Okay, you may be excused. Have a good day.
Thank you too.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning. May I have your name?
Katrina Thomason.
Okay, Ms. Thomason. So you have 2 charges. You have obstructing an officer. That bond amount is $1,500. And you also have a disorderly conduct charge. That bond amount is $1,500. So your total bond is $3,000. Do you understand the charges and the bond amount?
Yes.
Do you believe you can make bond?
Yes.
Okay, are you requesting a court-appointed attorney, ma'am?
Yes, I am.
Okay, I'm reviewing your application. I want to make sure this information is accurate. You put 24,000 per month. Is that per year?
No, I meant to put 2,400.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. I didn't mean to put that comma there.
Put your mask on, you know.
Okay, so I am granting your request to have a court-appointed attorney represent you. So I've signed off on that order, and your preliminary hearing date is going to be scheduled for May 4th. But if you do bond out, that court date will be waived, and you'll receive a new notice in the mail. Do you have any questions for me, Ms. Thomason?
No, ma'am.
Okay, you may be excused.
Have a nice day.
You too. Do we have any more ladies?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Oh, that's all with the ladies, John. I do apologize. That's all with the ladies.
So let me double check. Maya Russell, is she OTB?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Thank you, Deputy Irvin. Have a good weekend.
You as well.
Thank you.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. All right. So are we ready on the middle side?
Yes, we are.
Okay, excellent. The first person I have is Mr. Blackman.
Your Honor, Mr. Blackman.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
So you have been charged with several driving offenses. One is DUI, driving under the influence, driving on the wrong side of the road. There's an open container violation, as well as a hit and run accident violation. Your total bond amount for all the charges is $4,500. Do you understand the charges and the bond, sir?
Yes, I do.
Do you believe you'll be able to make bond?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Are you requesting the assistance of a court-appointed attorney? All right, so I have approved your application and I am appointing an attorney to represent you. Your preliminary hearing date is going to be scheduled for May 4th. If you bond out, that hearing date will be waived and you'll receive a new notice in the mail. Do you have any questions, Mr. Blackman? Okay, you may be excused. Have a good day. May I have your name, sir? Okay, good morning, Mr. Bledsoe. So I have two charges here for you. One is following too close. The second is DUI, alcohol less safe. Your total bond amount is $2,500. Do you understand the charges and your bond amount? You said yes?
Yes.
Okay. Do you believe you can make bonds, sir?
Yes.
Okay. Are you requesting a court-appointed attorney or do you plan to hire your own attorney?
Court appointed.
All right, so you do qualify. I am approving your application for a court-appointed attorney. Your preliminary hearing date is being scheduled for May 4th. If you do bond out, Mr. Bledsoe, that date will be waived and you'll receive a new court notice in the mail. Do you have any questions for me, sir?
I do not.
Okay, have a good day. May I have your name?
Ryan Briggs.
Okay, good morning, Mr. Briggs. So you have been charged with one count of simple battery. Your bond is set at $5,000. Do you understand the charge and your bond amount? Do you believe you'll be able to make bonds, sir? Okay. Are you requesting the assistance of a court-appointed attorney? Okay, so you do qualify. I'm approving your application and I have appointed an attorney to represent you. You do have a special condition to your bond, and that is to have no contact with Catherine Anderson. Okay, no contact, whether direct or indirect. And this special condition will stay in place until such time that another judge modifies this bond or until your case has been resolved. Do you understand that special condition, sir? Okay. Your preliminary hearing date is being scheduled for May 4th at 8:30 a.m. Do you have any questions for me, sir? Okay, you may be excused. Have a good day.
There's only thing in the back. That's what they want to get.
Good morning. May I have your name? Okay. Okay, so Mr. Curry, you have been charged with several offenses. One of them is reckless conduct. That bond is $5,000. Possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. That bond is $10,000. Criminal damage in the first degree. That bond is $5,000. Possession of a weapon during the commission of a crime. That bond is $10,000. You also have an aggravated assault charge, and I am denying bond on that charge here today. Do you understand the charges and what I've mentioned about bond?
I understand.
Okay, so I am scheduling a bond hearing date for you so you can readdress the issue of a bond with another judge. That court date is going to be May 7th, 2021. I'm also scheduling a preliminary hearing date for you. And that preliminary hearing date is going to be May 5th. And so on those court dates, you will be brought before the court again to address those matters. Are you requesting the assistance of a court-appointed attorney, sir? Okay, so I am granting and approving your application, and I have appointed an attorney to represent you. Just so you know, I did add a special condition to your bond, and that's to stay away and have no contact with Jaslyn Simmons. But that's in the event that you ultimately get a bond. There will be that special condition there. Okay. Do you have any questions for me, Mr. Curry?
Yes, what's the total bond amount? What's the total?
So on the other charges, the other 4 charges, the total bond amount on those is $30,000 on the other 4 charges. And then it's denied on the aggravated assault. You have any other questions? Okay, you may be excused, sir. May I have your name?
Durante Floyd.
Okay, good morning, Mr. Floyd. Mr. Floyd, you have been charged with several offenses. You have a theft by receiving stolen property charge. You actually had 2 of those charges. I'm dismissing one of them for insufficient probable cause. So you just have 1 charge of theft by receiving stolen property. That bond amount is $5,000. You have a possession of a weapon during the commission of a crime charge. That bond amount is $5,000. You also have a criminal trespass charge. That bond amount is $2,500. You have a cruelty to children in the 3rd degree charge. That bond amount is $2,500. I'm sorry, you have two of those charges. So it's $2,500 apiece. You have an obstruction of a police officer charge. That bond amount is $2,500. And then you have an aggravated assault charge. That bond amount is $20,000. There was a simple battery charge as well. I have dismissed that charge for insufficient probable cause. So I will sign an order dismissing that charge. Between all of your charges that I just mentioned to you, your total bond amount is $40,000. Do you understand the charges and your total bond, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
I want to confirm a couple of things with you. The 225 Johnson Road address, what apartment number is that location?
It was a part, you want the apartment number or the apartment name?
The apartment number, the unit number.
It was 38C, but it's like a couple buildings out there with the same number 38. So you'll have to look for it.
Okay, so I thought it said 38C, but I wasn't sure. What city is that located?
I guess Forest Park. I'm not for sure. It's out this way though.
Okay, you believe it's in Forest Park, you mentioned?
Yes.
Is that a shared residence? Is that where you were living?
Yeah, I was at that point, I was staying with my baby mother.
Okay, all right, so I do have some special conditions for your bond, sir. Given the nature of these charges, you cannot have any contact with Calvin Bennett, or I think the name is Anjanar Bennett. Do you know Anjanar? Do you know who that is?
Anjanae.
Okay, do you know how to spell her name?
I think it's AHJANAE.
Okay,
I think you just seen her in court.
okay, so, let's see. Okay, that's right. Thank you. So you can't have any contact with those 2 individuals until such time that another judge modifies this bond or until your case is resolved. And you cannot return to the address we just discussed, the 225 Johnson Road, apartment 38C. You cannot return back to that address. But you said that there was a shared residence where you were living. So I am giving you the opportunity to go back accompanied with the sheriff to collect some of your personal belongings. That's not a dispute.
My mother and the other person, Ajane, they got arrested with me. So they left my mother's car on the scene. I think they already, my little baby brother already got all my belongings. So I won't have to go back there at all.
Okay, so you don't need to return, you mentioned? You don't have any things you need to get from there?
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right, that's no problem. But I'm still gonna leave the condition in there though, that you can't go back there. So I understand, you know, the circumstances may have changed, but I'm gonna leave that condition in there. If you, make sure you put your mask over your nose, sir, so you can fully protect yourself. Are you requesting the assistance of an attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I've reviewed your application and you do qualify for a court-appointed attorney, so I've granted that request. Your preliminary hearing date is going to be scheduled for May 5th, 2021. Do you believe you can make bond, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I am signing off on your court-appointed attorney. Do you have any questions for me?
No, ma'am.
Okay, you may be excused. Have a good day.
Just go ahead and sit in the back.
May I have your name, sir?
James Hall.
Okay, so Mr. Hall, good morning. You have been charged with 2 counts of criminal damage in the 2nd degree. I've set a bond at $2,500 apiece on those charges. You also have a criminal trespass, damage to property. That bond amount is $1,500. You have a terroristic threats charge. That bond amount is $10,000. And you also have a stalking charge. That bond amount is $2,500. So your total bond amount is $19,000 between all of your charges. Do you understand the charges and the bond?
Yes.
Do you believe you'll be able to make bonds, sir?
Yes.
Are you requesting to be considered for a court-appointed attorney?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so I've reviewed your application and I am granting your request. So I have appointed a lawyer to represent you. Your preliminary hearing date is going to be scheduled for May 5th, 2021. And I also want to let you know that I have included some special conditions to your bond. You are to stay away and have no contact whatsoever with Nakisha Bryant. That's indirect or direct, no social media, no text, no emails, no phone calls, nothing. Do you understand that, sir? I need a yes or a no. Do you understand that, sir?
I said
Okay.
yes.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. You're gonna have to speak up through your mask. Also, you are not to return to the location of 5470 Riverdale Road, apartment D7 in Atlanta, Georgia. Do you understand that as well?
Yes.
Okay. So those are your special conditions. Do you have any questions for me?
No, ma'am.
Okay, you may be excused. Have a good day.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Vincent Hill.
You said Vincent Hill?
Well,
Okay, thank you. So Mr. Hill, you have been charged with obstructing an officer, DUI, alcohol less safe, reckless driving, driving on a suspended license, speeding, failure to dim your headlights, and improper lane change. Between all of those offenses, your total bond is $13,000. Do you understand the charges and your total bond?
yes, ma'am.
Do you believe you'll be able to make bonds, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, are you requesting a court-appointed attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm granting your request. I have approved your application. So I have appointed an attorney to represent you. Your preliminary hearing date is scheduled for May 4th of 2021. Do you have any questions, Mr. Hill?
$13,000.
I'm sorry?
You said it was 13,000, my mom?
Yes, the total bond is 13,000.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
Good morning, Aaron O'Kelly.
Good morning, Mr. Kelly.
O'Kelly, I'm sorry.
Oh, O'Kelly. I see. Good morning, Mr. O'Kelly. So you have two offenses. You've been charged with possession of marijuana less than an ounce. That's the misdemeanor charge. That bond is $1,500. Also, violation of the Georgia Controlled Substances Act. That is a felony charge, and so that bond is $5,000. So your total bond amount is $6,500. Do you understand the charges and the bond amount?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So yeah, your total bond is $6,500. Are you requesting to be considered for a court-appointed attorney, sir?
No, ma'am. I'm gonna hire one.
Okay, so you're gonna hire your own attorney to represent you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so your preliminary hearing date is going to be scheduled for May 5th. But if you do bond out, well, do you believe you'll be able to make bond?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so if you do bond out, that court date will be waived and you'll receive a new notice in the mail with your new court date. Do you have any questions for me, Mr. O'Kelly?
Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
Thank you. Ashley Preston.
I'm sorry, repeat your name one more time.
Ashley Preston.
Okay, good morning, Mr. Presley. You have been charged with one count of battery. Your bond is being set at $6,000. Do you understand the charge and your bond amount?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you believe you'll be able to make bond?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you requesting the assistance of a court-appointed attorney, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
So you've indicated that you are unemployed and you don't have any source of income. Is that accurate?
Mhm.
Okay, so I'm going to approve your request and I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. I do want to let you know that I have added special conditions to your bond. You are to stay away and have no contact with Carlias Moore. And you cannot return to 8654 Goswell Drive in Jonesboro, Georgia. Do you understand those conditions?
Yes, ma'am, but I got all my stuff, that's a rooming house. And all my stuff is there.
Okay, so what I'm going,
Everything is there, my car, everything like that.
okay, so when you say it's a rooming house, do you all have separate rooms at that location?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what I'm going to do, I will indicate on here that you can go back and grab some of your personal belongings. You have to do that within 10 days of being released from jail, and you have to be accompanied by a sheriff of the Clayton County Sheriff Department. You can retrieve some of your personal belongings and your items from that location, but you cannot return back since you all are housed within that same building or home address. And
I got one question.
what's your question, Mr. Presley? Sorry.
What if he's no longer staying because he's in the process of getting evicted? It was all a misunderstanding. I don't understand why I got it.
Okay, so the main idea behind this condition that I've indicated on your bond is because you were charged with battery and Mr. Moore is the alleged victim in this case. The main idea is to stay away from him. So, just if he's there, you cannot go back there. If he's not there, I'll caution you about making the decision to go back there. I think the best course of action would be to consult your attorney first and try to get that condition modified. Are you requesting a court-appointed attorney, or you plan to hire your own attorney? Okay, let me see if you qualify. Oh, I did just say you qualified. Sorry. So I have requested, or excuse me, approved your request for a court-appointed attorney. So you would need to talk to him or her before you go back. I just don't want you to be in violation of this bond condition. And what they can do is they can reach a consent bond with the state to modify this condition if it is in fact true that Mr. Moore is no longer residing there. Okay, but in the meanwhile, I will allow you to go back with the sheriff to retrieve your belongings. Your preliminary hearing date is being scheduled for May 4th, 2021 at 8:30 a.m. Do you have any questions for me, Mr. Presley? Okay, well, you may be excused. Have a good day, sir. May I have your name?
Odell Robertson.
Odell Robertson?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You have one charge of interference with government property. It's a felony charge. That bond is being set at $5,000. Do you understand the charge, sir, and the bond amount?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you believe you'll be able to make bond?
Yes, if I could get a phone call. Look, I'm not from here, so I really need to be in intake to give me a free call or something. I really need a phone call. If I could get me a phone call, I could make mine.
All right, so you'll definitely have an opportunity at some point to make a phone call. Do you believe, you say you believe you can make bond, however, right?
Yes, ma'am. If I can get a New Orleans bond, Dallas bond, and a Coastal bond, do something with a Dallas bond down there, I can.
Okay, so are you requesting the assistance of a court-appointed attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Let me take a look at your application. All right, so you indicated that you're unemployed and you don't have any source of income, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'm appointing an attorney to represent you, sir. Your preliminary hearing date, I've scheduled it for May 5th. But if you do bond out before then, the net court date will be waived and you'll receive a new notice in the mail. Do you have any questions for me?
No, ma'am.
Okay, have a good day. Good morning, may I have your name?
Smith, Randy Smith.
I'm sorry, you're gonna have to speak up for me.
It's Randy Smith.
All right, good morning, Mr. Smith. You have been charged with criminal trespass and obstruction of an officer. Your total bond is $3,000. Do you understand your charges and your bond amount?
Yes, I do, ma'am.
Do you believe you can make bond, sir?
Yes,
Okay. Are you requesting the assistance of a court-appointed counsel?
yes.
Your application indicates that you do not have a job and you do not have any source of income. Is that accurate?
I think so.
I'm sorry?
I think so. This is my first time here.
Okay, do you make any money?
I got, I did this.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? The internet broke up for a second there. Do you have,
I get SSI.
okay, how much do you get for SSI?
I really don't know.
Okay. You're not sure how much you earn per month? How long have you been receiving it, sir?
Ever since I was young.
Okay, I'm gonna appoint an attorney to represent you. So your attorney will be in contact. Your preliminary hearing date is being scheduled for May 4th at 8:30 a.m. If you do bond out like you believe you'll be able to, that court date will be waived and you'll receive a new court notice in the mail. Do you have any questions, Mr. Smith?
That's it.
Okay, thank you, sir. Have a good day. May I have your name, sir? You said Roderick Sanders? Okay. You have one charge of, criminal trespass. Your bond is set at $2,000. Do you understand that charge in your bond amount? Okay, I am placing a special condition on here, and that is you cannot return to that location where you were told not to go back. And that's the 1306 Baywood Circle. Do you understand that condition? Okay. Are you requesting the assistance of a court-appointed attorney, Mr. Sanders? All right, so you've indicated that you do not have any source of income. Is that correct? Okay. I'm appointing an attorney to represent you. I have set your preliminary hearing date for May 4th, 2021. Did you say you will be able to make bond?
I think so.
Okay. If you make bond, that court date will be waived and you'll receive a new court notice in the mail. Do you have any questions for me, Mr. Sanders?
No, ma'am.
Okay, you may be excused. Have a good day. May I have your name, sir?
Rodney Weston.
Okay, good morning, Mr. Weston. You have one charge of criminal trespass, and that bond is set at $1,500. Do you understand your charge and the bond amount?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so I'm gonna add a special condition to this bond. You can't go back to that private business that's located at 7704 North North Main Street in Jonesboro, Georgia. Do you understand that condition, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Are you requesting that a court-appointed attorney be granted?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let me review your application. I'm approving your request, sir, and I am appointing an attorney to represent you. Do you believe you'll be able to make bond?
No, ma'am. No, Your Honor, I won't.
Okay. So
I didn't even hear how much it was because there was making noise in the background.
I'm sorry, it's $1,500. So you can either pay the cash amount of $1,500 or you can go through a commercial bonding company. All right. I'm appointing an attorney to represent you. So talk to the attorney about your options. They may be able to enter into some type of consent with the state, or maybe they can resolve your case prior to your preliminary hearing date, which I'm scheduling for May 4th. All right. So if for some reason you're still detained, you will be brought up on May 4th. So that way you can have your matter heard before the court. Do you have any questions for me?
Yes, Your Honor. Why May 4th? Why 2 months?
Well, May 4th is a little less than 2 months, but that is how we have it scheduled. You know, as you can imagine, we hear several hundreds of these cases. So that is the next available date. And because it's only a misdemeanor charge, it's scheduled for May 4th. But like I mentioned, Mr. Weston, there's a possibility that your court-appointed attorney can resolve your case before then. You may not necessarily have to wait till May 4th. So your court-appointed attorney will be in contact with you, and you can discuss your options at that time with your lawyer, okay?
Okay, and one more question.
What's your question, Mr. Weston?
Since it's a misdemeanor, I thought if you waive your preliminary hearing, it would be April 4th, at least before May.
Do you want, you can waive your preliminary hearing. Do you want to waive that?
Yes, ma'am. If that'll get me, before May, because
Okay, so deputies, if we can get Mr. Weston a waiver form. And so, Mr. Weston, when they give you a waiver form, you'll just have to sign that document. And so we can waive your May 4th preliminary hearing date, and you can be brought up on your charges a lot quicker, all right?
okay.
You have any other questions?
No, Your Honor, that'll be all.
Okay, thank you, sir. Have a good day.
You too, ma'am.
Thank you.
You too, Justin.
May I have your name, sir?
Daquan Woody.
I'm sorry, what was your name?
Daquan Woody.
Oh, Daquan Williams. Okay. Okay, so Mr. Williams, you have two charges. Your first charge is felony murder. I am not authorized to set a bond on that charge. You also have an aggravated assault with a deadly weapon charge, and I'm denying bond on that charge as well. I am scheduling a bond hearing date for May 7th, 2021, so you can address the matter of bond at that time before the appropriate court. And I'm also scheduling a preliminary hearing date for you to take place on May 5th of 2021. Do you understand the charges and what I've just explained about bond in your court date? Are you requesting the assistance of a court-appointed attorney, sir? Yes or no?
No, ma'am.
Do you plan to hire your own attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, so I've indicated that you plan to hire your own attorney. Do you have any questions for me, sir? Okay, you may be excused, Mr. Williams. Good morning, may I have your name?
This is for Frank Worthy.
Okay, Mr. Worthen, you have a charge of a stop sign violation, possession with the intent to distribute, possession of marijuana less than an ounce, as well as possession of a weapon during the commission of a crime. Your total bond amount between those offenses is $22,000. Do you understand the charges and your bond amount?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe you'll be able to make bonds, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you requesting the assistance of a court-appointed attorney?
No, Your Honor.
Do you plan to hire your own attorney?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. I'm scheduling your preliminary hearing date for May 5th. If you do bond out like you believe you'll be able to do so, that court date will be waived and you'll receive a new notice in the mail. Do you have any questions for me, Mr. Worthen?
What was the total about my bond again?
It's $22,000.
Okay.
All right. Have a good day.
All right, Your Honor, we have one more, just the Spanish speaker.
We only have one more?
Yeah. Mr. Garcia.
I'm sorry, it's breaking up a little bit. What did you say about Garcia?
Yeah, we take him to medical, we just had a medical issue.
I'm sorry, I did not hear you.
We take him to medical. He will not be able to see you today.
Okay, so what about, did Jose Macu?
Yeah, he's out of one.
Okay, all right. And what about Ordonez?
Yeah, he's the one with the Spanish.
Oh, that's the Spanish.
Yes.
Okay, But you said Garcia is currently in medical?
Incorrect.
Okay, so you all cannot bring him up? Is that what you're saying?
I will check on that if you give me a moment.
Okay, but he is gonna be the second Spanish-speaking person?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, so let's see if you can give me a status on Garcia. So I can know whether or not I need to do him. But in the meanwhile, I'll go ahead and get the interpreter on the line for Ordonez.
Thank you, Your Honor.
No problem, just stand by for me.
Your Honor, you mute.
I'm sorry, I see. Thank you. So I'm ready for Mr. Ordonez. Okay, so Madam Interpreter, if I can swear you in, please. Do you swear or affirm that you would translate from English to Spanish and from Spanish to English in accordance with your training and experience?
I do.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. So I have Mr. Ordonez before me. If you can ask him to raise his right hand.
Señor Ordóñez, ¿puede levantar su mano derecha, por favor?
Do you swear or affirm that the information contained in your application for court-appointed counsel, as well as any information given to this court, will be true and correct? If so, say I do and lower your hand.
¿Jura usted que la información que está en su solicitud para un abogado asignado por el tribunal y toda la información que ha proporcionado el día de hoy y proporcionará el día de hoy es la verdad, toda la verdad y nada más que la verdad?
Okay, you can lower your hand, please.
Puede bajar su mano, por favor.
Okay, so Mr. Ordonez, I am going to explain a few things about your first appearance hearing today.
Señor Ordóñez, le voy a explicar algunas cosas acerca de su primera presentación en su audiencia el día de hoy.
The purpose of your first appearance hearing is for me to explain the charges against you, to give you your bond amount, and to determine whether you require the assistance of a court-appointed attorney.
El propósito de su presencia en su primera audiencia del día de hoy es explicarle cuáles son los cargos que hay en su contra, cuál es la fianza que se puede establecer a favor de usted y si se requiere la asistencia o el apoyo de un abogado asignado por el tribunal.
We are not here to have a trial in your case or for you to take a plea.
No nos encontramos aquí para tener un juicio en su contra ni para que usted se declare de ninguna manera.
You have the right to remain silent and say nothing, but anything, if you choose to give up this right, anything you say during this proceeding can be used against you.
Tiene el derecho de permanecer en silencio y no decir nada, pero si usted renuncia a ese derecho, cualquier cosa que usted diga podrá ser usada en cualquier proceso en su contra.
You have the right to the presumption of innocence until the state proves your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt.
Tiene el derecho a presumirse inocente hasta que el Estado pueda demostrar su culpabilidad más allá de cualquier duda razonable.
You have the right to indictment by the grand jury or by accusation for misdemeanors.
Tiene el derecho a una indicción por el gran jurado o a ser acusado por un delito menor.
You have the right to a speedy and a public jury trial.
Tiene el derecho a un juicio veloz.
You have the right to see, hear, and cross-examine any witnesses that are called to testify against you.
Tiene el derecho a sentarse aquí y a interrogar a cualquier testigo que sea traído para brindar testimonio en su contra.
You have the right to compel the attendance of any witnesses by subpoena to testify on your behalf.
Tiene el derecho a citar a cualquier testigo para que sea un citatorio legal para que pueda atestiguar a favor de usted.
You have the right to testify and offer any evidence in your own defense if you choose to do so.
Tiene el derecho a atestiguar y ofrecer cualquier testimonio a su defensa si usted elige hacerlo.
However, if you choose not to do so, there will be no presumption of guilt raised against you.
Sin embargo, si usted elige no hacerlo, no se presumirá ninguna culpabilidad en su contra.
You also have the right to an attorney to represent you.
También tiene el derecho a tener a un abogado que lo represente.
I want to explain to you the different types of bonds that you can use in order to be released from jail today.
Le quiero explicar el diferente tipo de fianzas que puede usar usted para ser liberado de la cárcel el día de hoy.
The first type of bond is called a cash bond, where you pay the full amount of your bond in cash to the sheriff's office.
La primera fianza se llama una fianza en efectivo y esta fianza es en donde usted le paga a la oficina del sheriff la cantidad total de la fianza para poder ser liberado.
At the end of your case, you will get this cash bond returned to you.
Y al final del caso, esta fianza se le devolverá a usted.
The second type of bond is a commercial bond where you pay a commercial bonding company to post the bond for you.
La siguiente fianza se llama una fianza comercial. Esta fianza es en donde usted le paga a una compañía de fianzas comerciales la fianza para que la cubran por usted.
These bonding companies usually charge you up to 15% of your bond amount in order to be utilize their services.
Estas compañías regularmente le cobran a usted hasta el 15% de la cantidad de la fianza para que usted pueda utilizar sus servicios.
Once you pay this fee to the commercial bonding company, you do not get this fee back.
Una vez que usted le paga esta cuota a estas compañías de fianza, ellos no le regresan esta cuota.
The third type of bond that you can use is called a property bond.
El tercer tipo de fianza que puede usar se llama fianza en propiedad.
You will need to find someone who has equity in their property that equals at least 3 times the total amount of your bond.
Tendría que encontrar usted a alguien que tenga ganancia en su propiedad que equivalga por lo menos 3 veces el valor de su fianza.
You have been charged and arrested for no driver's license.
Usted tiene el cargo y ha sido arrestado por conducir sin licencia de manejar.
Your total bond amount is $1,000.
Y el total de su fianza es de $1,000.
Do you understand what you have been charged with and your bond amount?
¿Comprende usted cuál es el cargo que hay en su contra y cuál es la cantidad de su fianza? Yes.
Do you believe you'll be able to post bond in order to be released?
¿Cree usted que podrá pagar la fianza para poder salir? Yes.
Okay. Are you requesting to have a court-appointed attorney represent you?
¿Está solicitando usted tener a un abogado asignado por el tribunal para que lo represente? Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you a few questions so I can complete the application form for a court-appointed attorney.
Bien, entonces le voy a hacer unas cuantas preguntas para poder completar la forma, para poderle asignar a un abogado asignado por el tribunal.
What is your address?
¿Cuál es su dirección?
No me acuerdo cuál es.
I don't remember my address.
Okay, do you have a phone number?
De acuerdo. ¿Tiene un número de teléfono?
678 964 9288.
It is 618-964-9288.
Okay, I'm gonna write this phone number down so that way the court-appointed attorney knows how to contact you.
Voy a tomar nota de este número de teléfono para que el abogado asignado por el tribunal sepa cómo ponerse en contacto con usted.
Sí.
How much money do you
Yes.
make every month?
¿Cuánto dinero gana usted al mes?
2000.
2,000.
Okay, so I have approved your request and I am assigning a court-appointed attorney to represent you.
Bien, he autorizado su requerimiento y le voy a asignar a un abogado por el tribunal.
Your preliminary hearing date is scheduled for May 4th, but in the event you bond out of jail, that court date will be canceled and you'll receive a new court date in the mail.
Bien, su fecha estipulada es para el día 4 de mayo. Esto es para su corte. Pero en caso de que usted pague su fianza y salga de la cárcel, recibirá por correo una nueva fecha de corte.
Do you have any questions for me? Did you catch that, Madam Interpreter? Do you have any questions for me, Mr. Ordonez?
¿Entendió eso, señor Ordóñez? ¿Tiene alguna pregunta?
El número para que me llame el abogado, no estoy muy seguro que si ese es mi número, como que no me acuerdo muy bien.
The number that I provided for the attorney to call me, I'm not sure if that's the correct number. I'm not sure if I remember the number correctly.
Okay, so Mr. Ordonez, we need some way for the attorney to contact you. Do you have any other way that he or she can contact you?
Señor Ordóñez, necesitamos una forma segura para que el abogado se pueda poner en contacto con usted. ¿Tiene alguna otra manera para que lo pueda contactar?
No, nada más sería mi número, pero no me lo sé.
No, it would only be the number, but I don't know it.
Okay, so Mr. Ordonez, what I recommend is that you contact the court once you're released and provide them with an address. Once you remember the address, provide them with the address where you can receive the court notice and make sure that the court has your correct phone number.
Lo que yo le recomiendo, señor Ordóñez, es que una vez que salga bajo fianza, se ponga en contacto con la corte y le proporcione a la corte su dirección completa para que pueda recibir su citatorio para la corte y les proporcione su número de teléfono correcto.
Sí, está bien.
Okay.
Okay, do you have any more questions?
¿Tiene alguna otra pregunta?
No.
Okay, well, thank you.
No.
Have a good day. You can go back.
Gracias, que tenga un buen día. Puede regresar.
Gracias igualmente.
Thank you, same to you.
Okay, excellent. One moment, Madam Interpreter. Deputies, you said we don't need any other translations.
No, the other one is still a medical. So
Okay. Okay, hold on one second for me, Deputy. Madam Interpreter, thank you. Have a good day, okay?
Likewise, Your Honor. I hope you have a wonderful Sunday.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Okay, so you said
The Garcia.
you're still in medical? Hold on, let me take a look at something. Okay, so what I'll do then is I'll just put him on the calendar for tomorrow.
Okay.
And I'll just indicate, I'll sign a continuance order and I'll just indicate that he's in medical.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Deputy. Have a good day.
You too. Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.